Hey guys, Mihaela Telecan with a Q&A session. So last week when I post something about something, I can't remember what I was posting about, one of the questions from the viewers was, how about the antioxidants and the phytonutrients from plants when you follow a carnivore diet? So what does it mean to follow a carnivore diet? It's a loose definition. Everybody has their own. As far as I'm concerned, carnivore diet means we eliminate plant-derived foods except coffee. Nevertheless, coffee is a plant extract. But the way I do it anyway, I look at the plants that you actually chew that come with fiber and the other carbohydrates and plants. So there is a very dominant nutrition advice maybe, or school of thought that tells us that humans do need plants because they are our main source of vitamins and minerals. And in addition to vitamins and minerals, plants also provide us with phytonutrients. A better term for them is indeed phytochemicals, as well as fiber. So guys, in fact, this is something that I'm unlearning this whole last year. Since it's been 1 year anniversary since I, for the first time, embarked on this carnivore trial as an experiment, and then I continue with it because I had results. So up to last year November, I was still convinced that plants do have some role in human nutrition. They do provide us with some vitamins and minerals, and nevertheless with fiber, and they do supply us with phytonutrients. In fact, my book is not up there, it's somewhere else in the house. In fact, in my book, I have a section where I talk about all those things. And what made me change my mind? What made me unlearn? Again, it's about finding your own cure. And this is a long answer to a relatively direct question, but I need to give a little bit of context. To find your cure, it means to connect to your own body. Our body has built-in wisdom, built in from generation to generation to generation. That's one kind of wisdom, but I'm talking about the wisdom that is built in by the manufacturer. So whoever you think you owe your existence, that higher power, has put in this physical body a wisdom that if we tap into, it will help us make our food choices. Not from a place of fear, not from a place of luck, but simply from a place of deep knowing that this is what's good for my body. However, in this cure method, there is U, and U stands for unlearn. And what I'm talking about is exactly that. I personally had to unlearn this particular school of thought that humans do need antioxidants and phytonutrients from plants, or fiber for that matter. Carbohydrates I already unlearn the years before that we don't need to supply them as a macronutrient from the diet. The body can produce its own glucose as a source of energy. But now, to answer the question about antioxidants, yes, there are antioxidants, and yes, there are phytonutrients and vitamins and minerals in plants. However, the fact that they are in plants, it doesn't mean that we need them, number one. Number two, it doesn't mean we actually absorb as much of them as we thought previously. And number one, I'm going to the last point, the absorption. Why not? Because our human gut, biologically, physiologically, is not properly equipped to extract vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients from plants. The way the herbivore gut is equipped. Our digestion is completely different. It's enzymatic digestion. We don't have microbial digestion. We do have some microbial digestion in our large intestine, but that's not where we absorb our nutrients. By the time food gets there, the absorption of nutrients is passé. It happened already. So the fact that there are all these nutrients in plants does not mean we are able to extract them to the capacity our body requires in order to be nourished. Number two, our body has built-in systems, antioxidant system. It produces antioxidants and it has antioxidant enzymes that are helping generate antioxidants. We're not going to go into what the complicated explanation of antioxidant system. I'm telling you, I learned it in school, and every time I learned it, it was difficult to not only to wrap my head around it, but then to explain it to someone else. But it's about the oxidation reactions that take place in life. And know that free radicals are unstable molecules, and because they are unstable, they try to stabilize themselves, so they steal electrons from stable molecules. And for example, vitamin C, vitamin E are stable molecules that are those free radicals can steal an electron from to stabilize them. So that's how they help. So it's almost like vitamin C sacrifices in this process to give the electrons to this unstable disease-causing molecule, and in the process, the vitamin C becomes used, and then it goes through the antioxidant systems to be saved, as an example. So anyway, antioxidant reactions are rather complicated. We're not going to go into them, but some example of antioxidants would be vitamin C, vitamin E, glutathione. When our body indeed cannot produce vitamins like A or C or E or any vitamin or mineral for that matter, we have to supply this from our diet. It doesn't mean we need plants to supply. The foods that are the best absorbed and digested by the human gut are of actual animal nature. And they supply us with all the nutrients, including vitamin C. Now we have studies that show that meat and liver, organ meats do contain vitamin C. And we understand that actually the requirements for vitamin C are much lower when we eliminate carbohydrates from the diet, because vitamin C and glucose, they are very similar in chemical structure, and they compete. So the more glucose you eat, the more carbs you eat, the more vitamin C you require. So when you don't consume glucose as an external source of like a food, your requirement for vitamin C is lower. Therefore, the meat you consume is sufficient to supply what the body needs, not to prevent scurvy, but what the body actually needs to function optimally. Then other antioxidants like glutathione, there are some foods that help us produce more glutathione. For example, the best studied foods, which are part of my detox protocol actually, are the foods in the cabbage family, right? The sulfur-containing compounds in brassica family, sulforaphane. But even those compounds, the way they are found in the cabbage, if the cabbage is not chopped or ripped or exposed to oxygen, those sulfur-containing compounds are not active yet. So in order to activate them, indeed, we do have to expose those plants to break the cell structure and expose them to oxygen, give them enough time so they become active in the body and help the body produce our own antioxidants. So yes, there are compounds in plants that help our body produce more antioxidants, but it doesn't mean that if you don't consume those, you cannot actually help your body produce antioxidants like glutathione, for example. There are ways, lifestyle factors that will help the body produce its own antioxidants upon demand. Examples would be exposure to extreme cold, and you probably heard about cryotherapy, exposure to extreme heat, such as infrared sauna, or any sauna for that matter. High intensity exercise, which is like a stressor for the body, can also make our body produce more antioxidants. So the answer is you don't need to get the antioxidants from plants or the phytonutrients. The body can acquire them, certain antioxidants, from animal food source, and also the body will get the same result as from induced by compounds in plants through lifestyle, intense, extreme lifestyle conditions. And the other point that I wanted to bring up, it was why. So why rely on getting your phytonutrients or antioxidants from plants when you know they come with a lot of baggage? So yes, you may be able to get some of those from plants, yes, vitamin C and E and glutathione and all the, polyphenols and all those compounds. However, you not only get these, but you get a lot more of other plant compounds that are rather detrimental to one's health, especially when the person, again, is immune compromised and gut compromised. I hope this makes sense. So you have to weigh your options. Again, because there is more than one way to get to the same result. So you have to see what is the best way for you. That's why I say you have to find your cure. Personally, I'm not concerned about that. I have to say I don't have much like long-term data to report to you with regards to this. But for this whole entire year that I've been experimenting with the carnivore eating, I was not super strict, but I would say 90% strict, carnivore, no plants. I did not take any supplements, and I stopped taking. I felt like I did not need to take fish oil. I didn't need to take magnesium, no postural hypotension, no muscle cramping, things that I still had on my low carb. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting to see. Now, why was that? Was it because my gut function wasn't still optimal, so I wasn't able to absorb everything I needed from what I was eating at the time? And now, because I eliminated all the plants and my gut functions better, I'm actually pulling everything I need from the animal foods I eat. Do I eat only meat? No, I do eat good amount of organ meats. I do eat occasionally cheese on and off. I do consume eggs, seafood. So it's a variety of different sources of proteins. And I do, I know it's trendy, Dr. Paul Saladino talks always about nose to tail. I do eat nose to tail, and I always, when I ate animal foods, I always did that because that's how I was brought up. I always ate the feet from the chicken. We ate the tail of the pig and the ears and the tongue and everything else, and the sheep and whatever animal we sacrificed. We use the whole thing. So it's not a new concept for me at all. Does it make sense? Yes, it makes total sense to eat every part of the animal because different organs and tissues provide you with different nutrients. So in summary, the answer to the question, are you concerned? Because I think that's how the question was formulated. Are you concerned about not getting phytonutrients or phytochemicals and antioxidants because you're not consuming plants? I am not concerned at all. And in fact, because I like testing, I am going to do a nutritional evaluation blood tests with SpectraCell to see what's my nutritional status now after 1 year of carnivore. I'm going to do also my lipid panel, which I haven't done in now about, I think it's even over a year, to see how my lipids are, and of course, kidney function, liver function, all of that. And you've been following me, and you already noticed the blood glucose experimentation I'm doing, and I have to say the most stable blood glucose it is on a carnivore plan. And I hope the explanation was kind of long and winded, but it makes sense. Yes, plants do contain vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, but they also contain lots of other plant chemicals that in large amount can offset the benefits of the other ones. And again, it depends on the individual, the state of the immune health of the person and the gut health of the person, if they can tolerate and in what amount. I'm not saying run away from plants altogether, they're poisonous. It's not like that. If you have to find by default the dietary path that works for you, and you see what's the makeup of that, how much plants versus animal foods. But just keep in mind, as an animal, humans are not herbivores. So by anyone's stretch of anyone's imagination, going 100% plant foods, especially raw, is not the path to health or longevity or optimal mind-body function. I know it's popular in spiritual world. People think that when they go plant-based, they are more connected to the higher power and all that. I question that, but yeah, maybe, because when you eat meat, you are more grounded. You can see you're more down to earth. However, I question that is necessary for you to tap into your intuition and to gain clarity and all that. I really seriously question it. It does suppress bodily function like sexual desires when you go more plant-based versus animal-based. That's why monks are doing it. That's why that's how the whole nutrition field started, and I can talk another time about that. Because now this is getting like I'm going all over the place in all sorts of directions. But as a wild animal, wild animal, you are not herbivore by any stretch of anyone's imagination. Go back to all the textbooks and everything we know, and looking at our digestion, our anatomy, digestion, physiology, we are not herbivores. You may be arguing that we are omnivores, and we can have another conversation around that, but not herbivores. So taking out of the picture the fact that you can survive and do well on plants, we can have another conversation around between the comparison between omnivore and carnivore, and then you decide, where you lean towards. But me personally, as the wild animal, Mihaela, I lean more towards carnivore, and I'll explain more in other videos. And just to bring the point home, you don't need plants to get your vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, or phytochemicals. Yeah, for phytochemicals you need plants, because phyto means plant, but you don't need phytochemicals. You can get all the benefits that will come from that through eating more animal-based foods and lifestyle, extreme heat, extreme cold, extreme exercise. You get these three, perfect. Someone that's really ill and cannot do any of the extreme lifestyles may benefit from small amounts of plant phytochemicals. I guess that's the conclusion of today's video. I hope this makes sense. Let me know what are your questions around this topic. I'm super excited to continue the conversation. And again, guys, I am not telling you what to eat. I'm not telling you to be me. I'm sharing with you information so you become more inquisitive about what is out there, to begin to think about how your body functions, what does your body need, pay attention to how you feel, experiment. You are empowered, allowed to experiment with your body. Work with your body, get to know your body, receive feedback from your body, and that's how you find your cure. You don't have to do what I'm doing, not at all. You have to figure out what works for you. And that's how I help my clients. I'm helping them get in touch with their body, unlearn what doesn't serve the new relationship they have with their body, redefine food. It's pissing me off. Redefine food from, this is pathetic. Redefine food and elevate you to the next level. Have a fabulous day, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Don't forget, comment below, ask your questions. I'm happy to come back and talk, answer some more.